All right. Brian Palavai run far here with Devon Yanko after her third place finish at the 2016 Western States 100. How are you, Devon?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Aside from a little wear on your neck and feet.
Yeah, just a little.
Just a
flesh wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, my legs feel great. It's the. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as I don't take a shower for the next 3 days, we'll be totally fine.
There you go. Hopefully you can just lounge around and relax for that time.
Exactly.
You kind of had to work the problem yesterday, fairly early on, huh?
It was at the time I kind of changed it to like work the catastrophe, because most things that happens in ultras, like there's a set of circumstances that you have expectations, like your stomach goes, blah blah blah, like your muscles go out, and like having a crew member like not make it part of the plan, like that was like not even in my universe of thought, right? Especially the person that it is like super dependable, and then they weren't there, and so I come in the aid station, they're not there, and I spent like 3 minutes like maybe they're here, there's so many people, and I ended up I didn't want to take I had a bladder leading up to Duncan, and I didn't want to take that out, like it takes forever, I was like not something I would do.
So you're just like swapping packs, that was the plan.
Exactly. At Robinson, he was supposed to just give me 2 flasks to make it up, but I only had 1 flask with me, and so they filled it up with water, and I had no fuel, so they gave me some gels, but I ran out like halfway up to Robinson, so I spent like a good 45 minutes without anything. And so then I pretty exposed section, and that just really set me back, like getting dehydrated early. I start going out of Robinson, my crew's like, Robinson's like, you're fine, you're NASCARing me, and I'm just like, that, I said unicorn to you, and I was like, not really unicorn.
No.
Puppies and kittens. And then when I left Robinson, like I could tell, like I was just in this hole, and going down towards Last Chance, like I was being really careful. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna drink a lot of I drank a whole bottle of water. But like the backs of my legs started cramping, and then I made it through. I saw Megan, and she was like, you're fine, you're doing great. And I'm like, my crew was there, same person I missed, and I'm like super mad. And I made it through that aid station, but going into Last Chance, I started shivering, and I'm like, it's most definitely not cold out here, and getting kind of loopy, and like the cramps were setting in, and it's like okay, what do I do in this situation? And Zach, Stephanie's husband.
Zach Violet, yeah.
Yeah, he got up to me and he was like, tells me about this time when he sat in an aid station for 5 minutes to drink a full liter of Coke. He's like, you just need to do that. And so I kind of had this like, okay, just sit down, kind of regroup. And I sat down, and they, checked me out. And the med guys came over because of, I was feeling bad enough that I was actually kind of worried about it, and I was like, I don't really know how to work that problem, right? So I was like, okay, just sit. We talked about that. Like, what do you do with devil's thumb? Which just wasn't a devil's thumb. And they got me some potato chips, and like Billy Yang and Craig Thornley were there, and they're like, you can come back from this. And I'm like, I don't know. It's a hard thing. I just had to reset. Tried to get back some puppies and kittens, but
you find some there?
It took me a while, but like just getting out of that, like just being like having that faith, and having them, when you don't have the faith in yourself, having people be like, we've seen you do this. Yeah. Like, come on, you're just giving everybody else a chance. That was kind of funny, where I was like, okay, I'm just, kind of doing it not for yourself, but being like, I have this amazing crew out there. I have all these, like the whole Wazdell universe is following along, people running with me all over the country, and, people all over the world who are like, backing me. I was like, I'm gonna keep going because like they have faith that I can do this. And going down into the canyons, I like that time really helped me reset. And then I've done the canyons a bunch of times, and it was actually like, and it's always sucked, and it was actually easier than it has ever been. And I think it's because I had the right, like, I'm not gonna run up to Devil's Thumb, I'm just gonna hike, and I'm not worried about that because that's what I always do. So yeah, by the time I got to Devil's Thumb, I was actually feeling pretty good.
So when did you switch from trying to survive to, going back, maybe not making the final chase, but when did you go back to running a race?
So after kind of getting out of Last Chance and starting down the canyon, I had like a little cry about like thinking about my little niece and nephew that they don't care, they're 3 and 1, but I was like, like I I want them to be proud and to kind of have that motivation. And then Taylor Swift came on, Shake It Off, and I was like, okay, right? I think I started to feel better. So I took my time going down that. And when I was in the aid station, 3 people had passed me, and I was like, all right, and after Devil's Thumb, when I got to Devil's Thumb, I was like, I came up to that feeling so good, I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna make it through Michigan Bluff.
Yeah.
That was the big obstacle for me, that has been my wall, I've never made it past there. And so after I went down and I started, I was right behind Alicia, not Eliza, Alyssa.
You're gonna get it right.
So I got right behind her, and then we caught up with EO, and she was, she had been way ahead of me, and she was having a hard time. So I stopped, and I was like, just pull it together. To see that, how quickly it can change, to kind of return that favor, because she had been like, you'll be fine, when she passed me, and I gave her my sleeves because she was sick, and I just thought she'd be better if she was cooling off. But coming out El Dorado Creek, I was feeling really strong, and when you do that in training so many times, you know exactly how long it should take you, even on race day, and I just felt so strong that it just is that kind of self-perpetuating thing, and seeing that how good my legs felt, the other stuff was subsiding. And they told me this, it'll just take time to catch up. So my stomach was always good, so I was hammering the calories, hammering the drink. So it's kind of all signs point to this could be good. So when I came into Michigan Bluff, I was like, tell Chrissy and Larissa that I have legs.
Good.
So getting through Volcano was what it was. But yeah, so it's right around there where I was like, all right,
And when did it sort of, at least externally, seemed like it turned into a race for second with Amy's Sprosted?
Oh no, it totally.
How was that?
So coming out of Forest Hill, I knew I was in 4th, and Larissa, epic downhiller, so it was the perfect combination. We just flowed on that trail, and somebody at the aid station told us that 3rd was 6 minutes ahead, and she told me, I'm not going to tell you, but they're really close. And so we just kept doing what we were doing. And when I passed her, I passed her with such momentum, and I had passed so many guys that I was like, all right. And then I get to the river, and they said Amy was 11 minutes ahead, but I felt so strong that I was like, let's try, hunt as long as I can for when I have legs. And by Brown's Bar, right before Brown's Bar, we started seeing her light. Okay. And they told us we were 2 or 3 minutes back, and it's I was having a little bit of shin pain, I was able to run, form's good, everything, but on slight downhills, there was just really excruciating pain in my shin.
You banged earlier?
It felt muscular, okay. So I changed my form a little bit, but you don't want to change your form too much. So I was making a really strong push, but then she, you can also see other people's lights. So she knows that she had seen, she knew that we were there because she saw Nathan, and she had asked Nathan how I was doing. So I think that in her mind, she also knows how I can close. So she's not going to go lightly, and she has the experience, and she had an amazing race. And it seemed coming at Highway 49, they told me again I was 3 minutes back. But at that point I was I just didn't have I didn't have that dun, 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 that I did at Javelina. So I was if for some she would have to falter for me to catch her.
Gotcha.
And it was more me trying to mitigate the shin circumstance, because the uphill was great. It's I ran most of the way up Roby Point, but it's that downhill to No Hins Bridge where I was me I felt really bad for Chrissy because it was just crying, snotting, grunting.
But knowing you're gonna finish,
exactly.
It's because it's pain, not a blow up.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was just finishing as strong as possible, and being okay with I fought the good fight. I came back from a catastrophe, and kind of just I wanted to get when I was going across No Hands Bridge, I was kind of still in that weird, painful, gripping, and then I was puppies and kittens and unicorns. I want to I didn't want to miss that moment.
No, so yeah, what did you come out of it? Redemption from your previous run here? Was it bouncing back from this day? What made yesterday special? Or what will you think about later?
Really just the support and having people rally around me, like that really made it for me, like to have people believe in me and be behind me and so excited, like the whole way, like just everybody all along the course is like, we believe in you, and it's like just having that is so cool. And yeah, I mean, it is redemption. I mean, I got in with one ticket in the fire year, right? Like it was supposed to be my first 100, and then I dropped. And to come back from something that, when I'm sitting there thinking, like, this course is gonna get the best of me, to go from that, where I was considering like how Gina and Cam Smith have like, just walked it in, and I was like, if that's like trying to find that place, but I'm really proud of being able to turn around and be so strong. Like ultimately, the finished place doesn't matter. It's the fact that I came back for something like that, and then was still able to enjoy the experience. Because like I told you, I didn't want to miss that, right? And so, did
almost having that, being at 49 with 2 or 3 minutes and knowing you're not going to catch her allow you to almost enjoy that final couple hours more?
Yeah, I mean, when I got to know Hans, and I was like, I'm not, like, I would have had to have caught her by then. And, she was inspired. And so, like, it allowed me on that climb to come up and then, like, meet my crew at Roby, and that, like, I mean, I was like, I'm not gonna cry, just kidding. I knew I was gonna cry, but like having them there, and I felt really good once I hit the road.
Gotcha.
You're like, that's what it's about, like relishing that.
Now, what's up next for you? Do you have any other plans?
I do, but it's kind of we have to see how the feet shake out. I'm signed up for Leadville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a couple months away.
Yeah.
It's feet.
Exactly.
I mean, they don't look so good, but
yeah. Up next is actually I'm going to the Olympic trials to watch other people run next week.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. So 10 days up in Eugene. That's going to be pretty awesome.
Well, Devon, congratulations on the great run out there.